can skip everything until.
Yeah, there are no board members online. So give me your. Within 10.
Oh, yeah.
And then
do that, then go back and approve.
Something.
It's not my strength. We put it up where you think would be ready.
John's out. John does. I start with the pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You want to start with the presentation?
Yes. Thank you for coming tonight, everybody. We are very excited that we are going to start with a presentation from MTA, and I will hand it over to Principal Winkler.
Hey. Excellent. Thank you. So I don't really have much of an introduction other than to say that I'm so excited that these students are here to share with you a little bit about our daily go ahead with what we do at the Transition Academy. And that just by way of introduction. So I've got Jess and Katerina, both of whom I have known since the 3rd grade when I really first started, right? And then Braylon, who is with us from North Haven and new to us this year. She's been a great addition to the program, and they're going to tell you a little bit about MTA.
Hi, my name is Jess, and I'm a student at the Middlesex Transition Academy. I'm here to talk about some of our work sites and community partnerships. When we're out in the community, we're in different groups, which are based on independence level. Coached means a job coach goes with you and shows you what to do and guides you. Supervised means the job coach goes with you to help you, but is letting you do it on your own for a little bit, and then checks in. Independent means that you go alone. When I go to Water's Edge, which is a nursing home, I am supervised because I clean tables and set up games for recreation, and the job coach stays to the side and watches to see if I might need help. Also, I go to Perk on Main, and I am independent there. I'm also starting a new job at Strong School where I'm going to mentor another student who is still at the coach level. Hi, my name is Braylon, and I also work at Water's Edge. Another job site I go to is Market 32, which is a grocery store where I am supervised. The coach tells us what to do at the beginning, and then we go and do the tasks. At CVS, I work on outdates and facing. Another task that I do at MTA is book checking. We have boxes of books that we are preparing for donation to a used bookstore in town. I make sure that the books are ready, box them, and then go with the coach to deliver them.
Yes.
Up higher.
Okay, my name is Katerina. I'm a student at Middlesex Transition Academy. One of my job sites work independently at the Market 32 bakery. I package the rolls, put the bagels on the trays, and also package the cookies, brownies, turnovers, and muffins. I'm learning how to print out labels. I go to gym independently to work out. Another site at work is Burlington, where I'm supervised. It is a clothing store where we size the clothes or fix the hygiene products or fix the shoes by size. Another site I go to is CVS Pharmacy. I do facing and expiration dates like candy and deodorant. I'm supervised there. Another job site I work is at Stonewall Farm. I clean the stalls, garden, work, sweep, and I'm supervised there for safety. We also spend time at Wesleyan. Some students have job sites there. They go to the cafeteria and help and have done maintenance and landscaping. We also do Westwoods too, which is a club of students on campus. They plan things on Fridays at least once a month for us to do together. We work on communication skills and sharing ideas what we want to do with them. Some events we do are done like dancing, going to lunch in Houston cafeteria, playing games like going to sport games, tie-dyeing shirts, and sometimes we hang out with them on campus.
Each week, we decide as a group where to go for our outings. We fill out an outing budget so that we know how much money we have to spend. And then we decide to do an activity. For example, we might go to the library or go window shopping. We also have gone mini golfing and out to lunch. I am looking forward to other possible outings such as going to the movies, getting ice cream, going to a comedy event, or even a museum. We are so lucky that there are so many places around Middletown and Wesleyan that we were able to experience. Thank you.
You might have a question, you might have a comment, right?
When do you start at Strong?
I started like last Wednesday.
Yeah. And you're mentoring for somebody, you said?
Yeah, last time when I went there, I put the books in alphabetical order and then put them on the shelves, and I also dusted too.
Oh,
We just had our retreat there recently, so it was good for everyone who hadn't yet been over there to see it, so it's such a home
Yeah,
like.
we were
environment.
upstairs and I was eyeing the recipe book. I chose to restrain myself. Do we have any favorite recipes?
Oh,
So
great
if I can't restrain myself next time, I will find that recipe.
Yeah, think about it. And we
pressure.
recently, yes, and well, we recently actually upped the ante a little bit on the budget, right? Cause like the groceries was really expensive.
Absolutely.
So it's like, if you only have $20, what are you going to get? So what did you guys decide at the grocery store? What'd you get this week? It was gonna be French toast, but they weren't big on that.
We got pancakes though.
We got pancakes. Yeah. Things that are simple, that are easy, and that are cheap.
Always something cooking when you go over there. It always smells like cookies or.
Yeah, we got some
yeah.
nachos too.
And nachos, yes, nachos, big hit.
I was over a couple of weeks ago and I had the privilege of meeting with 4 students to find, and Jess, one of them, so thank you for that. And it was just such a great, it was a great way to find out how the kids are looking at what they like, finding the right fit, showing some resilience when something doesn't fit and they go to the next work opportunity. It's just absolutely incredible what you're doing over there, and I really enjoyed the time. Also, I asked them about their outings and I told them that I love movies, and if a movie is ever chosen as an outing, I would be a chaperone. I would
We'll
love to
let you
go.
know, of course.
Okay.
Perfect.
Seems like it was mini golf was the favorite, I think, when I was there.
I think so.
Right?
Yes, there was a whole community outing, so that's very big to us because. As you can imagine, when we go out in like Middletown, we try to put them in groups of 5 or 6 based on their coach supervised independent.
Mhm.
So at least every other month, we try to do something as a full community. And those are the ones that really we get the best feedback about because they just love to be together. They like to help each other and they like to be able to connect with other people.
What jobs do you like the best?
I really like Water's Edge because I like hanging out with all the people there. They're all really nice, and I like to play games because some of them are jokesters, so they kind of try to go up all the way, and we're like, no, we're gonna back up a little bit. So I really like that.
It's an important business because it is under the umbrella of hospitality and that is taking care of people and making people happy. And I think there's no greater joy in life than that.
I also like Water's Edge.
Yeah.
Only thing that, I like the bakery, cause I can do things independently there. I work how to do things. Work by myself all the time, so I learn how to do properly, how to do things.
It's gotta be tempting with all those good foods.
What bakery are you at?
Market 32,
Oh,
Middletown.
yeah.
Donuts
So
are
it's the
good.
price
there.
shopper.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. Oh, yeah, good chance to name.
So it's not price shopping.
Yeah.
Great.
Great.
Place.
Okay. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you so much. And of course, I want to thank Mrs. Winkler and Mrs. Keen for the development of this program.
Yeah.
This entire program is a gem in our district, so thank you both very much for that. And now if it's all right with you, I'm going to ask Mr. Kimball to come up.
Yes. Linda is on.
Yeah, or is there good?
Yeah, man, good.
Yeah.
Good evening, everyone, board, guests, and probably the most important person at the moment, Mr. Managing. So, for those of you who may not know, Ms. Keen is retiring from Region 13 after 48 years So when I was asked to speak, I immediately said yes. I was like, oh, why wouldn't I? This is great. And then a few minutes later, the weight of that kind of settled on my shoulders, and I realized, how do I encapsulate the work of someone over that span of time, right? So I'm gonna give it a shot. You tell me if I get it right. Okay.
Doing a great job.
Appreciate it. And that's it right there. That's that, and you just did it for me, right? This came one of the first people I met when I arrived here. She made an appointment with me. She made an effort to come in and sit with me and talk with me. And it was never about, this is what goes on here. It was immediate like, so what do you do? Do you have family? What are your hobbies? She was trying to learn who I was, right? So think about that over 48 years with thousands of students, right? Because she does the exact same thing with everyone with whom she comes in contact with. So no matter who I ask, everybody had a story. I remember her when I was younger. I remember her coming to my game. I remember her coming here. I remember when I had a hard day, she was someone I can count on. Colleagues were like, oh, we can ask her to do anything. I mean, there was nobody that didn't have a positive story, right? And this is from students that I'm working with right now from 6, 7, and 8, all the way up to their parents in the parking lot, stopping me, saying, oh my God, I can't believe she's leaving. I remember when, and then the story would just come out. So the amount of people that you've touched over these years is incredible. And you've done it with such grace that you've made an imprint on them that they're gonna remember their entire lives. Like you're that person they tell their kids about and their grandkids and so on and so on. And I wouldn't be going too far to just simply say like, you're pretty much the face of Region 13, right? Well, you kind of encapsulate what the region is trying to get at, right? That we're taking care of one another, right? And we're making sure that everybody is able to achieve their best. And you do that with such grace and you do that with such care with everyone that you come across, that it's extremely touching and it's extremely commendable. I want to wish you the best on the next chapter. I want to hope that you come back to visit us right down the street. Hey, not that far. And thank you, at least for everybody at Strong and Sharp and the entire community for all that you've done for everyone.
You have to come up. You have to come up near here.
Okay. We're gonna have to get these home for you.
Yes, I think so. I did clean out the car a little bit today.
Some of the spokesmen.
I'm so glad you brought these. I asked Jen Penny if she could. Thank you. These were posters made by the kids in school. One went the length of a bookcase, which is this one. And then a couple kids got together and made this one, a shorter one.
Yeah.
And then they made me bracelets. But Dave, honestly, as you started the day off by announcing I was retiring. And the kids came by, teachers came by just to say, good luck, hi there. It was really great. We had little things, brownies and cookies at the end of the day. It was really nice.
You sat in front of the library, it was like a constant rate of people coming through all day. It was excellent.
Yeah,
Because of you.
well, thank you very much because you started the day off really. And I thought I was gonna cry. I did not. I was so happy. It was so fabulous. It was just a great day. A lot of happiness. So,
Right.
so thank you.
Thank you.
Can I put these in there?
Yes.
Okay, Kay, when you were a server, we used to say waitress at Timeout Tavern, I hadn't known you were working for the district. So you were not only doing the district, you were helping Coach Camp out run that restaurant. I
Yeah.
remember you were the few who I did not despise dropping off a pile of dishes at my dish station. I was like, no problem. AK's always cheerful and happy, and I will help her.
Jamie and I met when there used to be a gas station across from Durham Fitness, and Jamie worked there as a kid. Then he started doing dishes, as he said, and that started, I think, your career now. You teach cooking, culinary expertise. So Jamie and I have known for
That's the one thing after 48 years that you remember the most.
What do I remember the most?
After, over the 48 years.
The kids, they've just been, even the kids that are a little bit of an itch, you know.
The best ones.
There were some kids 2 years ago that were quite a handful, shall we say. Three of the boys, there were so many in schools and so many out of schools, and three of the boys stopped their last day of school and came up to me and apologized for their behavior. And I said, well, now you're gonna make better choices. I said, so, good luck and give me a hug. And they did, so, so. Thank you all. This was really,
Thank
really
you.
nice.
Thank you.
I really appreciate it. Different being the center of attention, so
Yeah.
these are just gorgeous.
We can always get those to you if you want to leave them here, either way.
Either way, and I'm parked right next to you, Karen, so I can walk out with you.
Oh, perfect. I got this, I think, but that I wouldn't be able to.
Okay,
Okay.
I'll take this
Thank
with
you
me.
all.
You're gonna get it, yeah?
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
And we also have two brief building updates presentations up first. So we have our architects who are not going to go through the whole presentation again, but just give an update on where you are in the process and some of the meetings you've had lately, and then we'll hand it over to O&G.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Carson Collier with QA&M. So I'm the project manager working on the project here. Just prior to this meeting, we did have a presentation just kind of giving a general design update for those who are able to join. If not, there'll be a recording of it so you can kind of check out those meetings there at that point. But from an overall progress for where we are, we have submitted our DD, which is the design documentation set of drawings, middle of last month. So we are kind of segueing into the construction document design period at this point. And actively, we are in the process of having meetings with all the various department heads, faculty members to kind of do a secondary review from our first round of comments and feedback that we received from them. So we are, I'm going to say probably 80% done with all of those meetings. We have a few more this week and a couple additional ones next week, just based around the academic schedule that we have there. But so far, all of that feedback has been very positive from the faculty members at that point, just being responsive to some of their initial comments, adjusting some of the design elements based off of how they use the space day in and day out. So far, that's kind of where we're at. So we continue to charge ahead, working hand in hand with O&G as we evaluate the costs side of things. And I'm sure they'll talk a little bit about that as well, just in their general update there. But other than that, that's kind of where we stand from a design standpoint. If there's any immediate questions that the board might have, I can help answer.
Thanks very much, Carson. And I like the presentation earlier. And so if you haven't seen it, there's a lot of 3D pictures and.
Concept imagery there, yeah.
Quickly, just to let you know, this process is going to move pretty quickly because the target is to start construction early next year. So lots of meetings with building officials, local officials, planning and zoning meetings, all of that's going to be occurring over the next 2 to 3 months. Then we'll go to the state and get approval from them to go out to bid. There will be another phase that goes out earlier, which is going to be the hazmat and demolition phase. And then after that is the next phase, which is the main building and site phase. And then, you know, based on the question earlier on, when I'm going to do the playground equipment, the following phase is actually going to be furniture and equipment, and then the last phase would be playground equipment. So it goes on for quite a while, and at each phase, before we go to the state, we'll come before the board of ed and the building committee, because there are forms that need to be signed and there's approvals that need to be given. So you have plenty of opportunity to meet with us again and again to just give you an update, and also look at approving those particular documents for the state.
Thank you.
Rusty, thank you for being fervent in your belief of not having school happening while construction's happening. You stuck with it and you influenced us, and everything's gonna be painful, but it was for the best. Thank you.
I'm Mark Sedensky from O&G. I'm the pre-construction manager, so I handle coordinating with the estimating, the bidding, going to the state. For the phase 1, we're essentially complete. Our construction manager, Dan, who was here before, he's wrapping up paperwork. providing credits, ads, wrapping up phase one. I think there may be, maybe the Vita curtain left, that's about it. But I think all the other work is essentially complete. The feedback we've received, I think, has all been positive with the portables and the temp spaces. I can't really add too much to what these guys said. From what I handle, we've received design development documents, we've run estimates. We're completing our estimate actually today, late today. I'm setting up meetings with the project team, QA&M, and a couple of people from the district to review the estimate and move forward. We're finalizing the schedule, like Rusty said, to go to the state. Gonna have to go very rapidly. Things are gonna have to happen quickly. These guys at this point have the hard part. They have to design and put things on paper. Once they're done and they hand it over to me, I will, when we get approval from the state and you folks, I'll put it out to bid and we'll see where the numbers come. Any questions?
The only thing we had left in the swing space was curtains in the
Yeah.
gym, and we've looked at, and I think Eric is looking at options to have more portable access and not put in a curtain that was structurally couldn't really
Yeah.
work.
Yeah.
Yeah, since that meeting, did they have an opportunity to talk to the PE teachers about the dividers that go from the floor up, more like volleyball?
I'm not sure. Actually, I'm not sure if that happened or not.
From our end, we haven't heard anything additional since the last building committee meeting, where we discussed that. But I think I can follow up with Eric, and the rest of the team, and we'll kind of circle back at the next building committee meeting. As a status update there.
Awesome. Thank you.
And Dan may have had an answer, but actually he was bolting to pick his daughter who's flying in from out west to visit for the weekend, so we could give him a pass tonight.
Any other questions? Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. It'd be good if you guys could get the slideshow up, if we can put the slideshow up on one too. I know it's gonna be on the recording, but.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you want, I can send you the file.
Okay. And it's just the first set of slides,
Yeah,
right?
so I'll condense it, I'll PDF. Right?
Okay, all right, thank you.
No problem.
Now that we have a quorum, can you go back to item 2, motion to approve the agenda minus options, section 3, since we've already done that.
So. Second.
Any comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Time for item 4 is public comment. We have time for in-person public comment. Anybody online public comment?
Let's see, here are 3 attendees online. I don't see any hands up right now, Phil.
But we'll be here at the end, so. If not. Okay. I have a motion to approve the minutes for the Board of Education retreat of minutes of September 6th, 2025. A motion, a second.
Second?
Are there any questions or comments on those minutes?
I said 1, I think, if you could just add a line that I left at 11.
I did.
I think it was in there.
It was
Oh,
in
it
there.
was?
Yeah.
I must have totally skipped
Yeah.
over it then.
Yeah.
Thank you. I must
Put
have,
it in there.
I totally missed it.
11:12 or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
I actually put the rate.
I don't know how I missed it then. Yeah.
Any other comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion,
Aye.
the Board of Education minutes of September 10th.
Yeah, it needs to be a correction on that. I was listed as absent. I was sitting there,
Yeah,
so perhaps Steve was absent. It was maybe a screw up because I usually sat there, but
right.
yeah, I was there.
Yeah, I know.
Thanks. And we're also, just so everybody remembers, we're also working with new transcription and a new actually minutes taker and transcriptionist. So we'll have some kinks to work out.
Okay. Noting that Jamie was there, is there any other comments? Not all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'm to abstain. I was.
Abstain. And more abstains. Item 6, the superintendent's report, who has been very busy.
Yeah, we've had a lot going on, but a lot of really good things. So, I love that, I just wanted to start, I love that MTA kicked us off tonight, and I love being able to go over there and see their work and talk to the kids firsthand. It was fantastic. As usual, most of my report are things that are gonna come up later in the meeting, so I won't repeat those. We do have an opportunity, an interesting one. We were contacted by a company from California about being a host for an AI camp for students. So we're looking into whether or not we're gonna go forward with that. We had a first meeting, we're gonna have a second meeting. Basically, they would rent the facility from us. We would just be the host site. But we would also be able to have some of our staff attend for free. So since we're working on AI a lot this year, it could be a really good opportunity. We are looking, the cost isn't up to us. It is an expensive camp. So for 2 weeks, it's $1,400, but it's 10 days, 10 full days. So I know that some camps do cost that much, but it would be up to parents whether or not they choose to do that. And I would assume that we, as a district or some of our local charity organizations would try and do some like grant funding for kids who really wanted to go, who couldn't afford it, but it's not set in stone, but I wanted to let you know we're reviewing that. We had our first portrait of a graduate meeting with our consultant, so we're streamlining the portrait of a graduate and the strategic planning work to happen simultaneously, which makes a lot of sense and it's more efficient. We've had a lot of discussions about the fact that there have been a few starts and stops with this. So we want to make sure that we honor the work that's been done before. Anything that's been in all three of those starts and stops is just going to move forward automatically. And then we'll really be left to what we need to kind of revise, tweak, or add new. We also have had a lot of discussions about what to call this. So some people have called this vision of a graduate, portrait of a graduate, vision of a learner, portrait of a learner, so we probably got deeper into thinking about what we're going to call it maybe than we needed to, but anyway, that decision will be coming forward to the board at some point.
We had a portrait of a citizen too, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
that's out. Yeah.
I did use this vision of the graduate. Yeah.
Vision of the graduate. Yeah. We had a deep discussion about the difference between portrait and vision. It was fascinating and interesting, but Mr. Bro was there, maybe not too deep down the rabbit hole, but we're trying to distinguish which one works better.
Right, we're making good progress. We haven't arrived at a concluding title yet, but we're
Yeah.
working on it.
Yeah. For strategic planning, I've already put out notices about focus groups being scheduled for the board. I wanted to talk to you about this. It's probably easiest for focus groups if I split the board into 2 to 3 groups to just be able to either Zoom with you or maybe sit down before or after a meeting to ask the focus group questions so that you have input. But you can also just choose to participate as a community member or a parent in any of those other groups too. So when I schedule that, you can let me know what you think is going to work best for you. Our restorative practices this month is responsibility, and we've been recognizing and honoring a lot of our students and support staff and teachers for exhibiting our core ethical values each month. So that's been pretty fun. We've had some great celebratory photos that have come out from each school. Moving into facilities, you have the facilities update here. I know that this could be a change for some people in our community, but in terms of school security, we've decided to take on some even tighter restrictions about the use of the track by the public during the day. So we have students who are out there in classes, and we don't feel comfortable having students out in classes and not having any control over the security, members of the public coming and going. So we are going to move to close off the track during school hours and activities. Also, we're looking at sort of this walking path around. That's not really any place. I know it's tough because this is like a campus and a complex that is public, and then it turns into the public school area. But we really want to make sure that school safety wise, we don't, for example, have people who can walk right up to the library windows. So those are some changes that we're working on right now. We're working on just, having conversations with people. Most people are absolutely understanding that school safety is talked about and addressed in ways that it hasn't been in the past. So,
Can I just ask about
Sure.
that? So you said school hours and activities.
Yeah.
So how will the public know if there's an activity? Like, I'm assuming between
There's a
track, soccer,
game.
soccer
football,
game.
all that stuff, like how do they, I guess,
They
what
can-
day? Like, because it's not gonna be like every Monday
Yeah.
because the schedule varies.
But they can look online for the schedule, but I think
Okay.
with a lot of people, because all of our athletics events are on the webpage, and you can access them in a bunch of different ways too. But most of the time, I imagine people can look at the webpage or they might actually drive up, and if something's not happening, they can go, and if something's happening, they can find out if it's over soon, and they may choose to wait and then use the area.
Does that include practices?
Yes.
I was just thinking that too, like, so like right
So
now,
many.
there's so
families
many
are
people
doing
walking right
during
now, but there's
practices.
football practice going on.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I
I'm
think,
not sure, like,
yeah. I could see, like, to me, like, school hours seems very like
Yeah,
cut
that's-
and dry,
Mhm.
but I think it is used by so many of the public.
this time of day.
And like, I don't think anyone would do it during a game, but
Mhm.
to your point, Lindsay, like, during a practice, like,
During the game, they're not allowed to be there. so
Yeah.
Yeah.
people
A
stop
little
there.
bit during-
cause
So
like
do you
I.
want to keep it
I
open
think
during
practices,
practices?
I think it's incredibly important. I just walked in from the car and I had like 4 staff members and their families were walking the track. So
Mhm.
it's just, there aren't many places and opportunities in town that you can safely walk. And a lot of people are coming off injuries, and the track is a community. We want to open it as much as we can. If not, we'll maybe looking at more evenings opening up, but then we're adding an expense with the lights.
Right.
So I know games make a lot of sense, because
Yeah.
you want to restrict that complex during a CIAC event, but practices, unless there's been issues, I don't think there's been any really issues with community on the track during practices, unless there's something we're missing.
And would you still open up the basketball courts, like
Yeah.
next to it? Like that would be open, but the track would be closed? Like, I don't know, I just kind of think it would be like all or nothing. If we're talking about safety, like, why would you close the track but leave the basketball courts open?
Yeah,
This is-
ultimately, it's up to I mean, if you guys think that there's security issues of practices, I think there'll be a lot of,
I think the coach could decide if there's anybody, too many people walking around, the rest of them leave.
Or they think there's a concern.
Yeah.
yeah, and then putting that on the coaches stinks too, because, it could be community members that they don't want to upset, and it's not really their responsibility to supervise the
Right.
track, it's to supervise the kids in the facility. So it's a hard line. I don't know what other districts do with practices, and maybe we just follow whatever other districts are doing, but
Mhm.
I want it to be something everyone's proud of and use, and I think that is like the one thing that I really think restricts it.
Yeah, I just think it's important to control it during the class hours, so we know who's walking around.
And games.
Yeah.
So I can take it back to our team, and then we can say we want to entertain the idea of definitely not doing school hours or games. And then how does everybody feel about keeping it open during practices? What might be the concerns there? Yeah.
And then just kind of like just another point off of that, is it open to other students? Because just for argument's sake, like my kid's down there right now practicing softball. I know my husband's at the basketball courts, and my other 2 are walking the track, and there was a whole, but they're students, so like, is that okay? But like, I mean, they are students of this district, like, they're not allowed to
Yeah,
use
you
the
wouldn't
track.
be able to
Right.
tell, so.
Yeah, so like, what's kind of like, again, like all or nothing, or
Understood.
anyway.
Okay.
Is there something on the sign that allows people to understand, like, because I'm thinking like people are walking the track and they've got soccer practice and get hit by a ball, like that could happen, but is that at their own discretion, or is that something that is a liability for the district? That might be the reason why. we're
Anything
talking
that's
about-
on school district prosperity is going to be a liability for the district. I mean, no matter which way we slice it, unfortunately. So that's just something that we would have to approach if or when that happens.
Maybe touch base with Brendan and Bob Yarmentino at your monthly meeting and just talk to them about it.
Well, we did talk to them about it. We didn't specifically talk about practice, but everybody was 100% understanding about the need during the school hours of
Oh, yeah.
end of games, of closing that down. So,
I don't think you'll get any pushback there. I mean, I think it's just more
mhm.
everything else.
Okay.
It's gonna get cold too, so.
And that also brings up the paragraph that I have about the lights, is just the lights are gonna be really expensive, and also in the winter, we are worried about liability, if we're lighting the track in the winter and somebody comes out, then it's sort of enticing people to come and walk at night, so, we also talked about, well, what if we did some nights and not others, and then we thought, that's not gonna work well, because then some people would be like, why isn't it this night, that's when I can go.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want us to explore anything else about the lights. We also have an issue where it's all or nothing with the lights, so it's not just like the street light kind of things, it's all the stadium lights have to come on, they're all on or they're all off, so the expense does become a pretty significant expense if we start leaving those on every night. Not sure what the board's thoughts are about that.
I thought more in the summer. When, you know, if we chose like 2 days during the summer, but the lights are on, or even one day, or maybe work with Park and Rec so that there's some sort of like walking event or something.
Yeah,
There
they
should
should
be a
have
way
fun
to
ones.
utilize something that the community, you know.
I feel like with the fall and the winter coming up too, like it should just be, you walk until there's no more sun, like they don't, we need to light it, like if it's dark, then don't,
Sunset.
yeah.
Yeah.
To me, like, that's what it should be.
Okay. All right. The memorial project a little later, we're just so incredibly happy to be moving forward with a commissioning agent and an owner's project manager. That's gonna be a game changer, especially for Kim and Eric. So those will be coming up later. Also, we are very proud to announce that, I think because of Kim Newbig's incredible work, that we received the highest rating available for school districts, for the bond anticipation notes and our loan, which Bob and I were able to be on the call to get our first bond anticipation notes in the amount of $20 million today to get the project started. So it was a good bidding process. We had 5 different banks bidding on those, which is they were impressed that we got 5 bids. So it was a really good process and went with the lowest bidder. In addition, I won't go over the policy work because those are all coming up later. I'm excited to announce that our students at COG and CHOG Regional High School are going to be running candidates night for our school board candidates. So we're going to have some information that they're going to be putting out. That's going to be October 27th, a Monday night from 6 to 8 p.m. So everybody, I hope that we see everyone there. The students are running it, the students are developing the questions, and the students will be asking the questions and coordinating everything that evening.
You know, if they've invited the candidates yet.
They have.
Where is that being held at?
Did they?
In the auditorium.
You're online.
I'm currently on a flight home during that time, but we're gonna work it out.
We're gonna
so that
make it
I can participate.
Yeah.
Because it's important and I appreciate the efforts of the students.
Yeah, the students are arranging everything. They're arranging babysitting, they're arranging the food, like they're doing a fantastic job. I can't say enough about it. And just another save the date is, we had heard from people and I shouldn't say me historically because I wasn't here, but just about having an earlier scheduled finance committee meeting before the budget process really starts. So Kim has also scheduled a finance committee meeting to kick us off, and that's going to be Wednesday, November 12th from 5 to 6 in here. So we usually have one, and this will be a second meeting. So we'll be opening up a second meeting to make sure that we get as much input as we can even before we start getting deeper into the budget process. So we're excited about that. The last thing is, tonight will be the last night that we are going to be using YouTube to live stream the board meetings. We've tested out the owl camera hoot, which seems to be working incredibly well. People who were online at the meeting said that there's no delay because of YouTube, that there's better visibility and that the audio is better with it. So everybody can still live stream it. It's still going to be recorded. We will still upload it to YouTube, but that'll probably just get uploaded the next day, as opposed to just being able to watch it live on YouTube. But everybody agrees that this is going to be a better process moving forward. So I'll make sure that we get a lot of community announcements going out that there's going to be a change, just so people aren't looking for YouTube next month. It'll just be straight from the Zoom link. I think that's it. It's kind of a big report. We do have a lot of good things happening.
Thank you. Any other questions for Sydney?
Okay, thank you.
The next item is the chairman's report. As Sydney said, we had a bond anticipation note sale today. We have an interest rate of 2.58%. The $20 million. So it was out of 5, it was the lowest one. So that'll be the net interest, I think, on it. It's going to be like $500,000. So it's came out as a really good issuance today. We actually sign it, and his company is called Truist Securities, I think.
Truist.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And they did the bid on the Middletown Fire Department, Middlefield Fire Department last week. So they've been active in this area. They're from North Carolina, so we haven't seen them very much, but they're here. Item A is to review the Board of Education goals and objectives. At a retreat, we didn't change any of the goals. Student achievement, well-being, engagement, and fiscal oversight, but I did send out to everybody some objectives, which we haven't. Basically, I got these out of our listening at the retreat, but I have had no other input on this. So if you think there's anything missing or it's too much, I'd like to have these adopted at the November meeting if we can. So please take a look at these. Most of them are pretty straightforward. I took out some of the controversial stuff that we had talked about at the retreat. So if you have anything that you think is missing, let me know. Just edit it, send it back. I'd be happy to do it. And again, the student achievement goal, the objectives, basically the primary one is to forward the strategic plan and assure that the strategic plan addresses academic growth at all grade levels.
One piece of feedback I got from some leadership team members is the number 3, evaluate progress and development of pathways, programs, and application. So that was a very specific program that I think Stephanie was running, and while what was built was still in place, I think until we have the strategic plan, we're not really sure if that's going to be changing.
Okay.
What's happening is happening and is good, but I think we would need to wait until the strategic plan is developed to see if that's the exact same direction we're going,
You would suggest we delete 3.
probably.
I'm okay with that.
I think it was only left in there that because we were supporting the improvement of career pathways. I think it's hard. You can maybe change it to say, we're looking at it within the strategic plan supporting those career pathways, because I just think taking out the goals completely, it just doesn't have that focus there. And it has been a focus for years.
So you give me some language on that.
Yeah.
The well-being is obvious. First thing is to move eliminate the well-being committee and move it into school climate and culture committee, which we're gonna go over tonight. And the rest of it is really straightforward.
I think you did a good job encompassing what we talked about at the retreat. I think that they're good.
Engagement is get a newsletter out twice a week. I actually had somebody tell us they read the newsletter at a library. So that was kind of nice to know that they got the postcard and they went to the library and they read it.
And that's at the community centers too as well.
Yeah, I was at the Chamber of Commerce meeting this morning, and people were asking about the postcard and where the newsletter was, so that's also a good thing.
Yeah.
I'm happy the Middlefield Post Office actually lived up to their obligation of delivering.
Delivers it.
That has been an issue with our town publication.
Yeah.
As
The
well. and it's
new
just not done.
postmaster, I think, in Middlefield too.
Huh?
I think there's a new postmaster in Middlefield too.
Yes, there is.
And I do monitor the bin at the local post office, see how many are in there, so I'll give you an update on that. I won't count them, but I'll at least give you a little idea.
The postcard was good. It was
I
simple.
know
easy
the
to read.
writing stuff is hard to get public to read it. And when I was writing them several years ago, I used to have to yell at my daughters to read them. Because they never seem to get there. But anyway, on the fiscal oversight, also leverage CABE resources is, I'd like to have more of you go to conferences. I know it's hard when you work, but there's a number of CABE offerings coming up. and we like to get it. There's also cable offering that we can get, new member handbooks. And I think we should buy some of those.
Yeah, Steve got one when he started.
Yeah,
And I think there's
I
a
think
very small cost to it.
I think they're like, I don't know, is it eight copies for $85 or something like that?
Yeah.
I just got
I
a
think
note.
it's 75, yeah.
Yeah, so it'd be good if we could get a couple of those, since we'll at least have one new member. Could have,
And they are really working on trying to make it so that the in-person, that has been a big push to try to take things from in-person and doing more webinars that can be signed up for, and then you watch them afterwards, giving board members a chance to do them at night and then log in and be able to say that, yes, I went through the webinar, this is what I learned, as opposed to being there in person. There's a huge element in being in person. I don't think you can really take that away, but, at least working on professional development to be more remote
And
accessible.
yeah, and the final one, the fiscal, we've talked about it for a long time to look at our developed 5-year capital plan. So I think that will be a real interesting effort to tie into the strategic plan. But again, it's more work for Kim to put together all the stuff that's out there and needs, and then how to come up with a schedule. We had a long-term schedule when every boiler was past its life and stuff, but we need to look at it again, because we have to blend the capital needs of the rest of the buildings into the construction and the debt service of the building. Any other questions? So if I can get comments back, I'll look to see if we can adopt this goal for the November meeting.
It is even, I know you talk about it in communication, we were just talking on CAVE, but as a board, checking off all the boxes, this board is going to be awarding a leadership award this year from CAVE, so it's neat to
Great.
see that we checked off so many of those boxes.
Yes,
so
right.
people-
Nice.
Any other comments on that? Number 8, board communications. I did get a communication from Nick Fiala, who has resigned from the building committee. And we need to probably replace him. I was looking at the membership. I think there's 3 citizen members from Middlefield and only 2 from Durham right now. So maybe if we have another Durham resident that would be interested in being on the building committee, can bring their name forward, and we could talk about whether or not they would like to serve on this thing. And the committee is a little bit intense because it's like 6 engineers on there, and then we do get in detail sometimes.
Because of the construction, they're gonna be meeting
Yeah,
possibly twice a month.
twice a month,
instead
yeah.
of- Meetings are, most of the time they're short, but
Yeah.
sometimes the updates take a little longer.
Even though they're all engineers, though, it is really nice that, engineers all have their niche,
Niche.
so it is, I just sitting in the few meetings, I have found it very informative, just hearing their perspective. I
Yeah.
might know someone from Middlefield,
Yeah.
if you wanna go the route, who is an engineer, who might
Yeah.
wanna do it, but
We have 2 engineers from Middlefield and John G. Mateo, so
yeah.
let's looking to see if we can get another Durham.
Yeah, I know, that's what I'm just saying, if we can't find someone on the Durham
Yeah,
side.
oh, if we
it
can't
could
find
go-
somebody, that'll
Yeah.
be fine.
I did have one parent express interest who lives in Durham about being more involved in the building
Okay.
committee, so when I put after we talk about committees, when I put kind of the all call out for the community, I can maybe say, remind her that that's
Yeah.
open.
The other item A is the acceptance of the letter regarding potential purchase of John Lemon from Baptist Church that we got last year. This is just to acknowledge that we have received the interest letter of interest. So there's really nothing to do except acknowledge that it's there. I did spend quite a bit of time with Bob Garmentino about the next steps. He would like us to send him a letter so that his board of selectmen can begin to review the process, and started the draft of the letter. It basically to look at, one, is the town interested in the property? at all. Two, what are the restrictions that they think apply to it during planning and zoning? Is there a planning and zoning issues out there, wetlands, environmental stuff, anything that they're concerned about? And three, are there any, like, consistency with the plan of conservation development? Are the use of the property, other than the school property, which it's been used for, is there other restrictions or interest that the town has on that? So those kind of questions, and he can then bring that to his board of selectmen, and they will begin that process, and then we'll have dialogue. And I think it's gonna take, since Horn School took 5 years, I think, this, 2-year head start on this is probably the minimum. But if we can get started on that on a regular basis and talk about, where we're going, I think it'll help us in the long run. So I'll draft that letter and ask them to get involved, so.
It would be bad to do a joint meeting after that too with the Board of Selectmen.
Yeah, it'd be good.
Board. Yeah.
I was gonna send a similar to Brendan in Durham, because that issue is a little bit actually more complicated.
Mhm.
And we'll probably need a lot of legal advice to go through the restrictions on that property and how it was handled and what's left to do. So that property will be a little more complicated.
I think when they packed up the alley, they took my power cord, so if you.
Oh, hold on a second.
No, it's fine, you can keep
Doesn't
going.
it say it's not-
Wheels on these stairs.
Circle?
No, it's backwards. I'll find one, don't worry.
Find it.
No, it's okay, you can just keep going, I'll look for it.
I have power cord in my briefcase here.
They take the alley. Yeah, thanks. Drew has one.
A couple questions on this. Do we, at some point, need to do an evaluation of the properties to see what they're worth?
Yeah, I mean, one of the things we can do is, get an estimate.
Yeah.
Realtor, Bob gave me the name of the people they used, around the firehouse and the other places they were looking at. That would give us an idea what's the range, that the value of the property.
Yeah.
The value of the land, the value of the building, they're very different. Building has a lot of improvements that are needed, so there's still a good building and it's still.
Yeah, so I think if we're talking about maybe getting started on this a little bit earlier, because the last thing I want to do is have the building sit like Horn did for 6 years, and it costs a lot of money just to keep a building viable, so that we could sell it. And then if we talked about demolishing the building, you're talking at least $1 million or more just to demolish and have nothing left. So
Farm was like
the best one.
$65,000 a year, just to like.
Oh, it was more, it was like 80.
80,
I
yeah.
thought it was 80, and, but at least we want to be able to, if you can sell
I
it,
don't know if that'll work.
repurpose it right away, that's the best thing to do, is just hand it over as soon as it's empty. Well, not hand it over, I mean, sell it. The other thing is, at some point, would we also be considering our RFPs or our RFQs to see
Sure.
if there's any other interest out there?
Yeah, I think the whole process will require us to evaluate, how we're
All the
gonna get,
options.
how we're gonna get
Yeah.
this to move, and what
Yeah.
is the best solution for us and what's appropriate solution for Middlefield.
We have to get through that process with Middlefield first to talk about, because that's that first right of refusal. So you
Yeah.
make sure that
Yes.
Middlefield,
Yeah.
if they have interest, what's that interest, and
Yeah,
important. And they may want to do public hearings, they want to do information sessions and get more information.
yeah, might do a survey or something like that. Yeah, it's 2 years of work to get there, for sure.
Yeah, no, I think, and kind of what I said earlier was, I think sometimes like even the way it was worded, like just because we're accepting like a letter, written, like no one's accepting like a bid or, nothing, this is
Not
like
a
a very
dollar sign in
lengthy
there anyway.
process
Yeah.
that needs to take place.
Yeah,
No.
the board just needs to accept the letter.
Acknowledge it.
That's it, acknowledge the letter.
And it's interesting then that we have an interested party at the end of it, so. Great.
We've been interested for a long time.
And you'll respond back to it that we've acknowledged it?
Huh?
You'll respond back to them that we've acknowledged it.
Yeah. Number 9, new business, the budget calendar, I think was sent out.
Yep.
Anybody any, yes, questions or comments on it?
I just thought it seemed a little late. Like I thought, like, I don't know why I have it stuck in my head, maybe because I just have this one, I remember one year being on Valentine's Day and there being a whole Valentine's Day like presentation. And so it's just always stuck in my head. So I just wasn't sure, like, it just seems like it's 2 weeks later and only like one budget session in there. I know we always add them, you know, as needed, but also I was just wondering kind of like, is this gonna be a tougher budget year that maybe we need another week or two, but it's really up to the team.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is like sure that Kim has got everything she needs, but.
Yeah.
We
You
always
did add one
have,
for November, right?
She did.
Yeah,
yeah,
but the November one's not reflective on this calendar, but that's November 12th, right?
number 12, this should be on there too.
Well,
Just out of a good faith thing, I think we should invite the Board of Finances from both towns at some point.
That's what.
Some,
That's what
they
the
don't always
November meeting
participate in
is.
recent years, but at least offer.
Yeah, they're
Uh,
always invited, and Jim
Yeah.
Durham comes every time.
Yes, yeah,
The November 12th is the,
Martinelli.
yeah, there's November 12th is the finance committee that would invite all the boards. Okay. Yeah, in the past, if we've had issues, we've had lots of meetings. You know, if we had issues with the budget, we've had several meetings to get closure on it, so.
is there any way to fit a December one in there? Because if you're gonna have the one in November, you could fit something in December that's very close to, then it's not out of everyone's head what happened in the November one.
Yeah,
But I know that month is crazy.
I just also don't know what additional information we would have by December. I mean, because if we're looking at when admin team reviews all of the proposals, we're still just reviewing what's coming in.
but the thing I get in November is what the town's issues are gonna be there, what are they facing, how much debt do they think they're incurring, and can they, we'll have done the share, but the share won't mean much because it's gonna be the 5-year rolling average, so there's gonna be very little fluctuation in the roll from each town.
Yeah, oh, that's very much appreciated, the sort of being able to premeditate your budgets a little bit, yeah.
There's 4 other districts that are looking to do it for next 2027, 2028. They're putting applications in and with the state, so it's a cool start.
Yeah.
Maybe setting up questions to both the towns ahead of time. I know those meetings start off really slow and kind of no one has any kind
Yeah.
of like idea what they want to say or talk about. So if there's some talking points that go out ahead, they could get some data on and bring that to the table, because sometimes it takes forever to get moving.
Yeah, I think we've asked them for, what's their grand list, what's their expected tasks, what are the issues facing the town, what other projects coming up? And they're gonna have debt service this year because of the firehouse or next year. So.
Right. I don't think they will for this. They won't have debt service on that yet.
No, the following year.
Following year.
I would think we'd have to vote on the bonding for that. We haven't voted on the bonding. We just voted to approve it. I don't know. Did we vote on bonding too? When we voted to approve?
Must have
I believe it. Yeah, the bonding
Was it
approved.
bonding too?
Done, but-
Yeah, I think because you're mixing it with the plan amendment and the bonding.
Oh,
I thought we just
sorry.
approved that, we approved it.
Yes, there's
I don't remember.
some sticking
Yeah,
points
yeah.
happening, my understanding is at the state level.
Middlefield.
Let's let Bob figure that out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. Item B, vote to approve high school courses at our student achievement meeting. We went over 3 new courses. They're attached, I think, in the folders, biomedical exploration, sociology, unified music in our lives. Did anybody, Lucy, you want to talk about them for a minute?
Well, they're there. The links are in our reports and they are quite extensive, curriculum maps and information and scopes and sequence. So, and that's what we had asked for before. And I believe these courses are scheduled to run in the spring. So, I don't know if you had a chance to look at them, but they're quite extensive. So, and just a little bit of an understanding about the unified music in our lives, that is an IEP driven course. So it allows, students with IEPs to be able to participate, but it's modified. So the modifications are obviously going to be different, from year to year, depending on the students that are attending and their IEPs.
I think they did a good job. I think what came out,
Yeah,
student
it's
achievement was
excellent.
they've given us
Excellent.
exactly what we had asked for.
Right.
And they look great.
Very detailed, everything's there. Well, they have the whole curriculum, handbook was modified and the forms are all modified. So the questions are all in there for each of the courses, the descriptions, the lessons, the, criteria for evaluation, everything is in there. I mean, they're, so anyone coming in would know exactly, any teacher, if a new teacher had to come in, they would know exactly what to do.
Another nice step in this process is that we have peer review from other teachers. So other teachers are reviewing the curriculum as it comes in for other courses, which is just a great way to share information, see what all the other content areas are doing, and I'm sure that trickles out to improve all the courses.
With the unified music, I know you said it was IEP driven. Does that mean it will be run by a music therapist?
Not by a music therapist, no.
Okay, that's just
Music teacher.
interesting if we're
Yeah.
saying it's IEP driven, but we're not gonna have a music therapist.
So there'll be case managers, the music teacher, and then any kind of like other related services that would be necessary in there that are in the IEP to make sure that all the specific goals would be met that are related to that course.
So we have I'll make the motion.
Yep.
To approve the biomedical exploration curriculum, the sociology curriculum, and the unified music in our lives curriculums for the high school.
So moved. Or second, if Lucy's making it.
Any other comments? If you look at the sociology one, it looks like it would be, if it runs well, it would probably be something that could run for the community at night.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
It was a very,
Very.
really thought out
Yep.
curriculum in there. It looked like it'd be fun to take that course. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I thank you.
Hi, Linda.
The item C is a vote to approve the contract with from RFP 2025-005, the commissioning agent to BVH Mechanicals. The board, the building committee has recommended approval. They went through our RFP process, RFQ. They reviewed all the proposals. I think we had 5 or 6 on the commissioning agent, and they recommended BVH as the low bid. And the commissioning agent is the person that makes sure when you buy a boiler, you get the boiler that you expect. When you buy the equipment that you do, the commissioning agent makes sure that the stuff that you're getting delivered is what you spec and that it's the right equipment. So that's going to be critical in the equipment side of what we're ordering. So that's what
And
that's
they'll
for.
price shop, they'll price shop and
Yeah.
they'll look at cost and benefit and everything like that one with.
Well, I'll make a motion to award the contract for RFP 2025-005 commissioning agent to BVH Mechanicals.
The second,
A second.
the other comment, all in favor? The aye.
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 Thank you. The next one is a vote to award the contract for RFQ 2025-006. It's the OPM to STV Construction Inc. And this is owner's project manager. There's different names for it, but this is basically the person that will be checking everything. So that it's basically helping Kim. It's covered under the project cost, but as a person that will be working basically hand in hand with Kim to make sure everything is going correctly, all the contracts are being done correctly, and handling all of that technical work with Kim. And I think,
Is that one that's the forward facing to the community?
Yes.
That's one that meets with the community.
yeah,
Yeah, so for example, at tonight's meeting, we had ONG here, like that from now on, it will probably be the owner's manager that you're gonna be seeing at the board meeting, giving the,
summaries.
monthly summaries.
This is a critical position for the administration of the project by ours.
I'll make a motion to award the contract RFP 2025-006 OPM to STV Construction Incorporated.
Second,
I'll second.
any other comments?
And this is the one that the subcommittee interviewed for the building
Yes.
committee. for.
Right. Yeah, this went through, they had 2 finalists. And then they had a separate interview of the finalists by a small committee of the building committee to recommend this one. Right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
I know it will make him very happy.
Yeah,
Yes.
it will be really. Item E, the second reading and possible vote on the below policies. One, the first A is to repeal the current bullying and safe school climate policy 5131.8 and replace it with the school climate policy 5131.911. That was the second read. The sex discrimination and harassment in the workplace for personnel. This is a newer version of it. We had to update it for the language of the statutes, and the most important one here is the live animals in school, worked on substantially by Sydney to figure out how do we handle all these, certain animals in schools.
Yeah.
It has very comprehensive.
I want a pony.
I knew it. I knew and Jen Keen knew it too. We knew somebody was gonna ask for that miniature horse. We actually asked Shipman if that had to be in the policy, and they said yes, absolutely, because that is only dogs and miniature horses are considered ADA service animals.
Miniature horses.
Yes, miniature horses.
How about goats?
Nope.
We need them for the
Mhm.
center area.
That's a different kind of service.
Miniature ones, I think.
Yeah. So if everybody's okay with these for the second read, they will be adopted. The motion to adopt all 3 and repeal 1.
I'll make that motion.
Anybody? I heard it so moved, I think.
Yeah, I did.
In a second? Second. Any comments?
I just want to reiterate that bullying and safe school climate plan, the repeal is a mandate, correct?
Mhm.
So we have to repeal it and replace it with the state's version of the school climate.
Yes.
Yes.
And if you read it, most of the elements in
They're the same.
the old one are also the same in the new one.
All in favor?
Aye.
Just to let everybody know, the leadership team is working on a safe school climate guideline and procedure document. We're just getting started with that, and we're gonna, test a few things out in terms of process and procedure with the new policy, and at some point, that will go to the school climate committee, and then at some point that'll come to you, but just to let you know that that's in the works.
All right. And DE2. This is the first read on a number of policies. One, the policy committee is recommending. The first is the Board of Education Code of Ethics 9271. Actually, there's one sentence we're changing on the second page to refer complaints through the proper chain of command as outlined in the district resolution procedures, which are attached. And the big change in this is not in the policy, but in the guiding principles on communication. And that's attached as a regulation. We don't vote on the regulation, but it's here for us to review. And this has been worked on, I think, by Sydney with lots of input.
Yeah.
From policy committee and gone through this in detail.
And it's also been reviewed by Shipman already.
I have a couple of different things on the regulations to bring up, and I don't know if it's better to have it go back to policy. I'm happy to go through it now. I mean, some of it I think is like really small stuff. I tried to like really dedicate like almost like 2 hours looking at other districts, what they do regarding board communications, and this one's like probably the most lengthy I came across. So like under correspondence on the first page, I was thinking it would probably make more sense, that second bullet, to maybe change it to something that says, superintendent and board chair are the primary spokespeople for the board and district. Because I was also thinking about like new members coming on and then kind of like understanding, you know, the process a bit. And hence then forwarding emails, you know, is recommended, so that, you know, maybe something to that effect there.
So the one, I just want to make sure that we're talking about the same bullet. You're talking about the one that starts any board member in receipt of an email?
Yeah, I was thinking like, you know, basically kind of saying something like, the board chair and superintendent are the primary spokespeople. If you receive, you know, any emails or communication, please forward, you know, something like that.
I mean, any communications that you might have with constituents is not representative of the board. You can certainly express your opinion to a constituent, but not say, this is not a board policy, this is not something we agree on, this is just my opinion. So that needs to be fully understood by new board members.
Yep.
And also, I mean, what we had an issue with this was that there were people sending emails to the board, but they were only going to a few board members, and then the whole board didn't see it, or the chair or I didn't see it. So it's really about, if you get something that is a concern to the board, you have to make sure that everybody gets it.
So then maybe there should be a couple more bullet, or at least one more bullet here to kind of pull in the last couple things we just discussed.
Well, I think it,
One about the, you know, that you don't represent the whole board. And what you just said, Sydney.
we can make that a amendment that you talked, and we can, if we want to keep it in here, we could bring it back to the policy committee, but I think since we're all here, we ought to just move ahead with it and make those changes that.
More changes.
Yeah, well,
I do remember back in the day with Norm, he also was advising everybody, you know, don't have gatherings of 6 people, just, you know, at a restaurant or something, because that could constitute a meeting too, and that isn't always understood as well.
Well, actually, going off of that point, something that I read during my research was that the FOIC has cited many boards recently for email polling to craft public statements. So that I was thinking under email use by board members, maybe saying something like, you know, do not use email polling to craft public statements, or, you know, because if people are giving their feedback, even if you're just replying one, that's kind of a new.
It's the appearance of a meeting.
Yeah, and there was some court case that I found that was referenced, but I didn't write that.
do not use email for polling what?
To
Don't
email
use
polling.
email polling to craft public statements.
You do have to avoid reply all.
Underneath official district social media, the second bullet point with authorization and oversight. I just wanted to see, either make it another bullet point or just add it to this one, that basically, we are subject to record retention and archive content as required with our other policies.
Where did you have that?
I put it underneath the second bullet point under official district social media.
Yeah,
So just adding something in there that just says.
just a sentence.
Yeah, so it says superintendent establishes and manages official platforms with administrative regulations for content access and modification. So it's just saying that is subject to record retention and archive content as required.
You can send us this, right?
Yeah.
I just got.
That's fine. Yeah, that's why I said I didn't know if it was just better for it not to be maybe like a first read and send it back.
Well, as long as everybody here agrees to it, then.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, so it's up to you. I can
Go ahead.
type it up, like,
So it just says we are subject, or the district social media accounts are subject to record retention and archive access.
archive content as required is what I wrote.
Got it.
Under board members' personal social media, I think we should add a bullet point at some point that says shall not engage in online deliberation with other board members. Because then you also can get into like a whole bunch of other legal things there.
Like,
When, that was on there actually, and,
Okay.
one of the questions, and I'm not opposed to it, but
No, no,
I
no.
need to rephrase it. One of the concerns that Shipman had was just that, you know, you can debate about other things, right? So
Well, that's
you
true
can-
too,
you
so
can-
it's like
right?
a little subjective,
Right,
yeah.
so if
Mhm.
we do put that back in, we might want to say something like shall not engage in online
Maybe like-
deliberate or debates with other board members regarding school districts.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
mhm,
okay.
perfect, yeah.
I'd run the regulations by Jody from CABE too, if we haven't already done that. It's the policy guy from CABE.
I talked to him about
You
this.
did?
Yeah,
Okay, cool.
yeah, I met with him
Perfect.
about it. So I
He's
met with
great.
him and I met with Shipman about it.
Perfect.
The fourth bullet point down there, it says, after any board vote, support the board's adopted decision publicly, continue policy questions through official processes. I don't really like that wording. It kind of almost makes it sound like it doesn't, to me, there's votes every meeting, right? People may or may not agree. I was thinking rewording this to kind of say, respect the decision of the board, but you can still state your reasoning to basically why you voted the way you did. Just because I voted yes or no, doesn't mean like now I have to like, if I'm approached at a softball game, say like, oh, no, it's totally great, it's fine. That's almost how it was like implied to me. I think we used to be like, yeah, no, I voted no, but this is why, and we're moving forward.
you're reading under media and public statements.
It's under board members' personal social media,
Oh.
fourth bullet point down. So I think it's just, I think that needs to be reworded a bit to kind of say, yeah, you need to like deal with whatever vote happened, essentially. You need to support, you know, but you also can voice your opinion about why you voted.
Right. But not obstruct. is
Yes,
kind of the
yeah,
idea.
not obstruct, yeah,
Yeah.
yes. I think though, oh, hold on, wait, I did actually write myself something. I said, once board has voted, the adopted decision becomes the action of the board. Individual members may express their personal views and how they voted, but they should clearly distinguish those views from the official board decision.
And that's up top, I think.
And that's like what I kind of like wrote down to like reword it.
You getting all this?
I am.
Oh, good.
And I'm thankful that it's being recorded in case I need to go back.
Right.
And then I just wasn't sure, I mean, I think we all know this, but I thought this might be helpful if someone from the public were to ever look at the policy, just maybe adding a bullet point that the emails we receive from the public are also subject to FOIA. And so, like, because I think sometimes people might not realize that, so I just think it might be helpful to add that somewhere in here.
Text.
Hmm.
Any electronic communication.
Yeah, or change it to
Basically.
any electronic communication, yeah. Mhm. I think those were all my notes.
Awesome.
Right.
Thank you.
No, I think with those changes, I would like to move forward to the second read, because rather than bring it back for another 2 months, I think it's important to have this document.
Yeah,
Yeah,
if you're
to-
fine
to
with those
just see-
changes, that's fine with me.
Yeah, and if you could send a copy of it once you've added
Yeah.
the edits
Mhm.
in red, so we can.
Yeah,
absolutely
we're
look
missing a
at
lot of
this is
people,
a lot
so
of pieces.
we'll be able to send it before the meeting, probably be good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. The next one for first read is committees 9130. We've discussed this now for about 2 months, and these are the committees that are remaining. Policy, student achievement, climate, finance, safety, buildings and grounds, and human resources. And the membership on the committees and the purpose is in the longer detail. And I think that's been out now for like 2 months now.
There was some concern about maybe not changing the building committee to building and grounds right now, mid-construction. It just might be too confusing, so just leave it building committee and go to buildings and grounds in 2 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't think we had human resources. I thought that was taken out.
Well, human resources is not a, it's a.
Combined.
It's only once a year, right?
It's all It's
Just
all
be
board
the
members.
whole board, and then you can make a
Right.
subcommittee of the full
Yeah,
board
yeah,
and to
yeah.
do certain tasks, other human resources.
And does it, I don't know if this makes sense or not, but like, does it make sense to reference that there's an ACEs liaison? Like, I know that's not a committee, but we do have to.
We talked
one, I
about
don't-
that and we just didn't do anything with it now because you'll have to revote on that at reorganization. So there's just like a couple of months. and
Oh,
then
okay, I think I was.
After
thinking-
the next reorganization, you'll have to reappoint an ACES.
Yeah.
No, I know
This is-
that, but I meant
I
more
was
for
gonna-
the policy. Does
Oh.
it make sense to have it referenced?
As a committee,
Well, because I know it's not a committee,
Yeah.
but like it is something that a board member is assigned to. So that's.
Yeah, it's an
that's
assignment
kind of-
from the chair.
yeah, I
don't
mean,
know.
they're assigning me to it, but until there's a new word, so.
Yeah, Bob's coming tomorrow for
Yeah.
our monthly meeting,
You gotta tell me what time,
the 12th.
huh?
12th.
The only, well, two things is one, I have sort of an all call ready to go out to the community to, make sure that on all these committees, we can start bringing in parents and guardians, community members and students. We didn't, have a student listed on this document on the building committee, but, I'm hoping that everybody would be okay with seeing if we can get a couple of students to be on that committee.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that the only thing with the building committee, during a state project, they act independent in
Mhm.
terms of approving invoices and stuff like that. So there's a little bit more authority in there than they have, well, there's a project.
Mhm.
Other than that, everything has to come back to the board.
Yeah.
And I sent out the committee assignments. I didn't see did they get attached?
Yeah,
Yes.
they were.
Yeah, there's-
Yeah, these are for the next month, so.
Yeah.
There'll be another. And if you didn't like where I kind of got, put everywhere where they wanted it. I got information, so, but we'll change it in a month and see if everybody's comfortable with that.
Just need to, fix Minone's name is spelled wrong on it.
Right?
We just need to fix John's last name is spelled wrong. It's
Another.
and
Yeah. And I have an E on members. I was typing fast for me. So then we'll go to the next week, then we'll have our final committees. The other thing that Sydney was just talking about, the next item is the community member participation. 9110.1. This goes back for a while. We decided several years ago that we should allow some committee citizens to be on certain committees. And now that it's changed a little bit because we've identified the committees and where they can be. And so Cindy indicated that once we go without this, she'll ask people if they're interested in serving on any committees, so we can make those choices. So really,
It was in the spirit of getting more volunteerism among the two towns and.
yeah,
Because it's necessary to sort of get a bench going as well.
Right, so we'll also have, it'll just be a pretty simple Google form that we'll put out. So I'll say, these are the positions that are open on each committee. Fill out this Google form and then, Bob can appoint people. Obviously, we want balance. We want to try Durham and Middlefield. We want to make sure that, we're getting new people, different cross-section of parents, as many different perspectives as we can get.
with that survey, we should probably put out like what the expectations are
Mhm.
of the committees and what they're held to, regarding, confidentiality, FOI and all those things too.
Mhm. Most of all, I've heard that people just want to know how often they meet.
yeah.
I have a question. One of the edits that was added under roles and responsibilities was, unless otherwise, the community member is not eligible to vote unless, why was unless otherwise approved by the board added?
Because
Building
that's
committee?
the building committee.
Building.
Building committee votes the
Yeah.
community
Oh.
members based on the state
Can
structure.
you specify only because I remember when we were first, the idea of having community members on our committees, that was a big discussion that we had as to whether or not they would be allowed to vote. And we felt pretty strongly that that they shouldn't be allowed to vote, but if it's just for the building committee, then maybe it should specify just the building committee.
I'm not sure if I wanna, I just wanna say, I'm not sure if I wanna change that specifically, just because there could come another time where you don't have a big building project, but maybe you have a big curriculum project going forward and the board, this board votes to allow them to vote during that process. It could happen at any time, but right now, the only committee that's allowed to vote is the building committee. We can go either way. I tend to try to write policies so that you don't have to change
Come back.
policies a lot.
All right,
So which way do you want me to go with that?
I think otherwise approved.
I don't think it should be in there, but that's just me.
If we're blessed to have experts on a particular subject, I mean, I would think they're qualified to vote, but I understand that was our original
That
agreement
was,
that we had.
yeah.
There's very little voting in any of the committees except the building committee. Because, I mean, there isn't really,
True.
I do call it what you're saying though.
That's
I mean, I feel like it's that they always came up with their recommendation for us, but we were the ones that voted for it.
Right,
From
and
what I
that's
recall.
true
Yeah.
for all of the committees except building, because we're in a construction project.
You know, there's two levels too, because anything the committees recommend to move forward to the board still has to vote on that.
Yeah.
So if there's
Right, well, and
issues,
that's
there's-
true.
Maybe there's
Yeah.
something
Yeah.
to add in.
The
to
only
wording.
committee that gets votes on
Yeah.
everything is the building committee. None of the other committees vote.
Maybe with what they're
They're
saying,
recommended.
maybe to tweak the wording a bit to basically say that committee members bring recommendations to the board and unless otherwise noted, cannot vote. That maybe just tweaking that. I don't know if that would
Yeah.
suffice for everybody.
Does it state that they're advisory members? Because usually what you put, because they're advising for the committee.
yeah, okay, got that.
I got it.
The next one is restarted practices is required, changes by law. This is the Shipman version of it. And it's very little that we haven't really covered in that. The time and place notice of meetings we had in our time and place of meetings, we had that the meeting met at 7 o'clock, board meeting was at 7 o'clock. And we've not been doing that, we've been doing it at 6. So our policy is to get rid of the time. So we've made a change in the meeting time, place, just regular meetings with board shall begin at scheduled time. So it can be at any time because we have lots of special meetings.
Right.
And we just eliminated the time.
We did have a point in time where we were rotating some of the committee meetings in different buildings in the district. Is the owl hard to move around and bring places? I don't know. I mean,
It's something we can do now too.
I think, Drew, I think you're even buying the owl its own backpack, right? Yeah, so it will travel.
It travels.
Have all will travel.
You'll be carrying it in a backpack.
right, we loved it when we had gatherings at the morning.
Oh. I mean, I like that idea. I like,
Put it on your shoulder.
I like a real owl. But, I think that would be nice to have meetings in the different schools, and then
Yeah,
maybe
at
more
least for
families can
committees,
come,
Especially when you open a new one, it'd be nice to have a meeting there.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Can sit on a new stage.
Or in the upgraded library.
Yeah, in the library. The last one is the use of private technology devices by students. There's some deletions in it.
We deleted CD players.
Yeah.
We don't know what those are.
Yeah, although they're coming back, I heard. Finals coming back.
The kids also love the Polaroid things that.
Yeah. Polaroids are big, yeah.
We also deleted the private loan technologies devices being not used during instructional time.
Mhm.
There's an exception in there that's been deleted. And then the final thing in there is that says, Students are advised that the board's network administrators have the capability to identify users and monitor all privately owned technology devices while they are logged into the network. That's new and a warning.
Also, just, I think that there will be questions about this coming up. Just to let you know, but but it is going well. It's going well at the high school. It's just, but having cell phones. Okay.
I have one question, not that I want to change it, but it was just something I thought about after the fact was. I know it could be on kids' IEPs that have, you know, maybe more like executive functioning type issues. About like, oh, like how do you know, it's basically how to get them to like know what was like on the board so they can go home and study, or like knowing like homework. And I remember just a teacher saying like, oh, they just like snap pictures with their cell phone. And I'm like, oh, that's great. Cause like then when they're home, they can look at things. But I'm like, oh, if we're like eliminating that, and I am a big proponent of like not having cell phones, you know, out during instructional time. That's not what I'm implying, but just like maybe just making sure we're being conscious of like those kids and giving them maybe a different type of
iPads.
resource.
Yeah, like some of the smaller iPads, it's pretty.
Yeah,
to
like
do
where they
that,
could just take a picture and then it goes into their Google
100%.
Classroom.
Such a fine line too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
As long as it's our device.
I know I have students with very good intentions that use that phone for purposes of that sort, or, and it's like, you don't want to stifle that, but at the same time, also, we know it can enable that behavior as well.
Yeah.
It's such a fine line. But again, there's, you know, there are technologies
Yes,
that
there's
help
other
kids a
ways.
lot.
Right.
too.
Yeah.
Just sometimes just from understanding a word, I don't know what that word means, and, I mean.
yeah.
All right, those are the ones for a second read for next week as amended by comments from Christine and others. And those will be published in the next November meeting as ready for a second. Committee reports, policy committee, we did that stuff that we
That's
just
it.
went over.
That's what we did.
That's good.
We also talked about the use of cell phones quite a bit. So that's what we did. The building committee on September 17th, there's been 2 meetings since, but we basically on the 17th said that my notes, that the swing space was done, that we had $340,000, $340,409 were paid to diversified. Can't remember the last something. The contractor who did the work on the swing space.
Diversity.
Huh?
Diversity.
Diversified.
Diversity, I think it is, right? Diversity.
Anyway, that was paid. That was the final payment. We had a payment to ONG for $45,000 for their work on that. There was only a few, at that time, a few punch list items. Since then, they're all gone except for the curtain in the gym. It's strong. We've had quite a bit of discussion about permits by the town, and that the town wasn't gonna let us have they were gonna charge us the permit fee, which in Middlefield is gonna be the $300,000 range. We had asked several times to
Waive it.
waive it, but some of it is reimbursable, but not all of it. And we said we're gonna have the 3D presentation to the board. That was today. And we also basically went over all the design. We had a lot of questions on the sewage system and the drainage system, which we had a separate meeting on October 1st to solve those issues. And we also basically approved their schedule for getting the final plans to the state. We did have the session to review the 2 RFPs, and finally recommended approval of both that we created tonight. We also made the final payment of $293,000 to the track. Not track, it was. That was the 17th. We've had two meetings since then, but that's this. Notes from the 17th. I think the minutes are just published in case you want to see the details. And that was it for me. Student achievement.
So during student achievement, one of the items we talked about was the summer programming that occurred. There were 70 students that attended the extended school year program for special education students. There was a summer academy for grades K through 3 for students needing extra academic support. And there were 39 students that attended that academy. And then they also had an incoming kindergarten academy for children who are just coming in, will be coming into kindergarten in fall. And 64 out of the 87 students that are registered attended. We did a policy review of graduation requirements and curriculum. And those, we made some suggested edits, and they were forwarded to the policy committee, which we haven't discussed yet.
Right.
We did a new course curriculum review, and we already voted on the 3 courses that we reviewed. We also looked at the SBAC scores. The results are available to board members and the public. Will they be attached to our minutes?
They're
Board of Ed
linked
minutes,
right
or
here.
the
Yeah.
student achievement?
Both.
Both, okay, so they'll be attached to both student achievement and Board of Ed minutes. Implementation of new programs such as the math playlists will affect scores the first year of testing. So, because we did have some discussion about that. Overall, we are seeing small improvement, as with other reported testing data from the spring. Comparison to DIRG scores are included, and there are similar results with other district scores. And it would be worthwhile to take a few moments to review the content-specific district actions that are being proposed. For future, we discussed future meetings and topics. In the future, our committee will meet in September, which we did already, November, February, and May, unless a special meeting is warranted. The committee briefly discussed topics for each meeting. In the fall, it would be the summer programming and the testing data, SBAC scores, and possibly curriculum. In November, we will discuss the new high school course offerings to come up in goals for the next meetings.
Very good.
How's that?
All right.
Sit right in that little space.
And just, I wanted to also note that with those courses that were just approved, we're completely caught up with that whole process. So we're on track to go through the whole cycle, fresh start this year. There was some catch up there, but it's done.
It's great.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, last meeting, I had a chance to talk to Tom Dennehy, he's the executive director for quite a while. I'm so impressed with the amount of engagement that we've had, so thank you for all that engagement. I know that they're just as thankful and receptive for your information as the information coming out. So
They've been great to work with.
Yeah, they're wonderful. The construction project that currently ACES has a couple going on, but the 88 Bassett Road project, it's a $65 million renovation, 165,000 square feet. It's going to house both the village school and sales coming together. It's been amazing to see O&G work in the construction phase, because we're every month we get an update from O&G, and I gotta say it's been flawless. So it gives me a lot of hope on our project. They've had a lot of hurdles to overcome and, missteps with funding along the way. So that's been great to see. Currently still the ACES Head Start Liaison, which is the Birth to 3 federally funded program. They're working to do more outreach to our district just to see what the needs are in Birth to 3. And they've just been having a tough time this year. They've really been hit by the federal funding issues. The state's come in and given them a lot of help, and they've got a lot of really great people that work there, but they've, in the opinion of a couple of the rural districts, it's been really neglected. So we want to make sure that if there's families within Birth for 3 that can benefit from ACES Head Start, we want to try to get those community members involved. So I have Bob's coming with me tomorrow. I think we're going to do we have time, we're gonna do a walkthrough of 88 Bassett Road, the way that it's currently in construction, so.
Great.
They held a pretty good parent forum for Bassett Road too, which would be nice to see eventually for us. Cause I have a kid at the village, so. So they've done a very nice job of keeping parents in the loop with the communications and having forums, and like the kids are like beyond excited. Like my daughter keeps saying like new school, summer, like she knows. And it really is like amazing to kind of just see like two schools like come together and like what they'll be able to provide even above and beyond what they already do for such a very important population.
Yeah, I think I remember when that started, was at the start of the construction phase was when ONG started doing a lot of that engagement, so we should check in just to see when we want to start doing that.
Yeah. Well, we do have the website just as a way to like make sure that we always have current information out there, but we should work more on the, you know, the dialogue.
Any other comments? Thank you. Now for public comment. You're good. Thank you for staying. Any online public comment?
We do, we have a hand up. Okay.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, my name's Amanda Betty. I'm from Durham. I just wanted to just a couple of things regarding the proposal to block off the track during events. I think it would be important to look at how other towns do it. Recently, we're in North Branford for my daughter's soccer team game or travel team. And while they were on the field, there was also football practice happening, but there was members of the community who were there walking the track. There was no issues. So I don't know how other districts are doing it, but that was just last week when we were there and it was perfectly fine for them. And it's a beautiful new complex, turf field, brand new track. It's beautiful. So I think you should definitely look into a more flexible approach where the public access, you know, to the outdoor spaces is not unnecessarily restricted, you know, because we want to maintain the community's like access to these public resources. I briefly looked over the district's guidelines on the email use of by board members, which pretty clearly outlines the expectations like around transparency, avoiding deliberation, et cetera, you know, maintaining so that, you know, you're compliant with the FOI rules and procedures for the district. But I would like to ask what kinds of consequences, or would there be consequences when those steps are not followed? The policy outlines like what the board members should do, but it doesn't explain what happens when they don't. Is there going to be a process in place to investigate or address violations? Because from my own time on the board, personally, I'm aware of instances where board members shared emails that were absolutely 100% confidential in nature with members of the public. That is not hypothetical in any way. I'm aware it happened. Other board members are aware they did it. So there should be a clear accountability when policies like this, you know, are brought forward, because if there is not, you're going to risk this policy just being performative rather than protective of the public interest. And clearly we know what happens when that doesn't, you know, happen. And then finally, I'm sure most people are aware now, but the ethics committee in Durham is agreeing to investigate a complaint against a board member. And I'm just curious if it's going to prompt the board to reevaluate the previous decision regarding the indemnification, because it's a serious complaint and it seems prudent to reconsider that decision in light of what's going on with the investigation to ensure transparency and ultimately accountability within the board. So thank you.
Any other online comment?
Point of clarification, I don't believe that community member is talking about North Branford. I think she must be talking about another district, but they don't have a new complex. So.
Any other online comment?
No.
If not, I have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Get a second.
You seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye, thank you.